Good morning.
Nice to meet you guys, Jess and Josh.
That's
Great.
it. That's it. Yeah, we're excited to chat. So you're the executive director and co-founder of the Uniswap Foundation, and prior to that was chief of staff at Uniswap Labs. So wonder if to kick this off, you can just give us an overview of the distinction and responsibilities between Uniswap Labs and Uniswap Foundation.
Yeah, totally. Well, first off, thank you guys for having me. Really appreciate it, and it's really cool you guys do this every day. That's like a commitment. You've probably talked to a
Oh, it
lot of
is.
interesting
Don't
people.
even get
Yeah.
me started, Devin. It is not 11 a.m. where I am. Let me tell you that.
Oh gosh, I'm not even going to ask. Yeah. So good questions. So correct. I am one of the co-founders of the Uniswap Foundation, currently the executive director. And many people, when I tell them that, ask the question, okay, so do you and Hayden work together? Like, are you building Uniswap, like the protocol? And I think it's a good question. So basically, in 2017, 2018, Uniswap Labs was founded by Hayden Adams. A lot of people know the story. He built the Uniswap protocol, first AMM on chain. And Uniswap Labs continues to exist today. It's a team of about 120-ish people based in New York, developing the protocol and building a basically a vertically integrated stack. Like the front end, Uniswap X, Unichain now leads development of Unichain as well. When I was at Uniswap Labs, when you're chief of staff is kind of like such an amorphous title. Like one of the things I did was basically, anything that didn't have an owner, I kind of owned. And so some of the things I did while I was there is, help people with the governance process. Like the token was launched in 2020. Yeah, the token was launched in September 2020, I believe. And that's when governance started. And the governance process when I was there in like 2022 is just kind of like a mess. Some people may say it's still a little bit messy, but people needed guidance on like what the process was, how to submit a proposal, how do they talk to delegates. And I also looked around and saw, a lot of builders in the ecosystem who just needed help, support, et cetera. And that was within labs, that was one of like many things the team did. And I thought there could be a use for an organization that really focused on kind of like all of the builders and all of the stakeholders in the ecosystem outside of labs. It wasn't worth just, I don't know, 30% of my time as chief of staff. It was really worthy of a full team focusing on supporting all of these builders who loved Uniswap, who loved DeFi and wanted to contribute to its growth and sustainability. And who wanted to like innovate on the future of DeFi leveraging Uniswap. And so me and my co-founder, Ken, so Ken had founded, early iterations of the foundation through a Uniswap grants program that was funded by the Treasury. We put forth a proposal in 2022, I believe, and we're actually funded directly from the Treasury. And basically, like the high level, difference in mandate is labs is they're very much focused on technological development, technical roadmap, and we are very focused on delegates and developers. So delegates, like the whole governance process, supporting that with like key infrastructure. We just passed like a major governance proposal. So sometimes we put forth proposals, and then developers on the other hand. So supporting developers who are today primarily like building hooks, which is a new developer focused primitive that was introduced in V4. Is that helpful? Is that a helpful distinction?
For sure. For sure.
Okay, so I mean, there's so much I want to get into. Maybe first,
Yeah.
I think like some of the big news that has come out recently is I think the proposal to propose the creation of a DUNA, and it sounds like there's a bunch more strategy behind this, especially as maybe the United States regulatory bodies are opening up, and the importance of sort of being onshore here. Obviously comes with a fairly significant cost as well to be able to make that shift. So I'm curious if you can unpack, maybe what the DUNA unlocks for Uniswap and why you're pursuing it.
Yeah, for sure. So as I mentioned, one of the main components of our scope at the foundation has been the governance process and supporting token holders and token holders, delegates, like anyone who might participate in the process. And I mean, I would say two like core underlying themes have emerged, which have been like obstacles for the governance process to maybe reach its, like optimal state. For one, there are like fairly significant like regulatory compliance issues and concerns that arise for many token holders and potential delegates when it comes to participating in governance. Like, I think you guys at Seed Club are pretty focused on like DAO world stuff. Like, you may know, like, have you heard of the UkiDAO case? Like BZX from a few years ago. Yeah. So like that set a potentially like very dangerous precedent for many participants in DAOs. In that like a judge, I think in that case basically saw a DAO and said, hey, like, we need to, interpret the law as it relates to this amorphous thing. I don't know what this amorphous thing is. I think it's a general partnership. And like something like a bad implication of that is of a general partnership is that there's joint and several liability for all like members of that entity. And so that kind of had, that we already were having, issues, or there were a lot of like blocks to like large token holders, those with a lot of like skin in the game and like context to participate in governance, to actually participate in governance due to fears over what could potentially happen to them if they did, vote on a proposal, participate, et cetera. And so that really, I know a lot of people, cast doubt on governance process due to influence of like large actors, but really like not, there isn't a lot of participation from like large token holders of Uni, or there has not historically been, due to fears and risks related to that precedent set. I would also say, in addition to that kind of like chilling effect, it's been a blocker for or it's been a like consideration as we think about some of the proposals we want Uniswap to consider. So some of those and the legal clarity provided by setting up a Duna legal entity, which not only has like limited liability, but has certain defined treatment from like a tax perspective, can sign contracts, et cetera. There are benefits as it relates to, treasury management of the Uniswap treasury. The legal clarity is in our, from our point of view, the last blocker we need to uncover in order to consider fees, which has, been extremely long awaited by many people.
Let's go there, because I think we hear on this show quite often that the Uni token is often brought up as an example of highlighting the challenges of these sort of dual entity structures and ultimately the misaligned incentives that exist between sort of the equity holders of an organization and token holders. So I'm curious, is that a misalignment that you guys acknowledge or trying to fix? Do you disagree with the premise? Is that related to some of the Duna moves you're making?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, or it's a fair question. It's certainly one I hear a lot. I mean, the Duna truly is like I would say the largest blocks that we faced in trying to turn on fees, and if folks have like seen, we've really been working at it for some time and have learned some really like difficult lessons in the journey. It really has been related to this like lack of legal clarity. And you see people often point out, well, Uniswap, doesn't have fees on. All of these other protocols have fees on. I think if you like look at the specific facts and circumstance of Uniswap, they're just different. Like Uniswap is clearly like based in the US, or like it has like a locus of like activity in the US that many protocols saw all of the issues that Uniswap faced due to that and went offshore, and like thus do not face the same like facts and circumstances. And so like we have truly been working to turn on fees for a long time, and it's due to, I would say it's not due to like, I don't know, any pressure or anything from like equity holders or anything. It truly has been. We've had many advisors from the ecosystem, including from many VCs who hold like stakes in both, who have been working with us very closely to make this happen over the last few years. And so, And so I would say, I'm very excited. We're currently, working on a proposal that we hope to come out very, very soon. I'm working to get it out as soon as we can to actually address
some alpha.
I think we've said, I think we've communicated that to folks, but yeah, I think Uniswap delegates are kind of like pretty aware of the fact that from our perspective, this is a last blocker to actually or will actually allow us to consider fees with the clarity that we need, and we're excited to actually achieve that before end of year. Fingers crossed.
That's awesome. Huge news. Yeah, I guess maybe last question before we let you go. I'm curious, just maybe at a high level, just kind of your reflections on the state of like DAO governance. Have we got better at it over the last 3 years since you guys started the foundation? Is it still just a really shitty thing to have to deal with? Like, where's your head on that?
God, that is a good question. I mean, let me think on that a bit. I'm excited about what this legal entity will unlock. Aside from things like the fees, this actually allows like I guess some of the blockers, I would say, from the perspective of Uniswap that I'm excited to see kind of like addressed in a post Duna creation world are like one, you have like a really amazing, fantastic delegate set today who have been working very hard to like make Uniswap what it is today, who have been putting forth great proposals, but we've also been limited in the number and kind of participants in governance. Like there are a ton of incredibly smart, thoughtful people who have supported DeFi from who they're like investors, but also like, I don't know, like other kind of like holders who have just not participated in governance, either due to the UkiDAO type risks, or to be honest, like I think a lot of people call Uni a shitcoin because fees aren't on and just like don't think it has value. And so like I'm hoping to like resolve like those two big issues and actually have kind of like more thoughtful participants in governance once we kind of like finish, knock on wood, resolving those outstanding concerns. But I think like something like the Duna will also allow governance to actually sign real contracts. Like one of the issues that exist in DAO governance today, I'm sure you guys know, is that like governance proposals in a forum like are not legally binding. They're kind of like just writing in a forum like, hey, like I promise I'll do this, like and that just like that kind of like lack of accountability, I think has created maybe some of like the bad rap that like a lot of like proposals and DAO based activities get. But I don't know, I look at what's happening in like, I think like Arbitrum, to be honest, like I look at kind of like how they have really invested a ton in like I look at like the Entropy guys, like I'm really impressed by what they've done over the past like 2 years with Arbitrum governance. Like there are a lot of like good faith actors who seem to be really like investing a lot of time and energy to make DAO governance work there. I think I look at what's happening with like Hyperliquid over the last 3 days, and while it does seem a little bit like messy and disjointed and like you do have all of these like massive, multi-billion-dollar institutions salivating over a DAO proposal that's like happening in Discord, and you have Jan Van Eck kind of like thirsting for Hyperliquid on Twitter. Like I don't know, that's kind of like interesting and cool. And that comes from like a DAO-based process. Like I don't know. I think I acknowledge that it's been a rough few years, but I think the change in like the regulatory environment and regulatory clarity that we're getting like will like creates an opportunity.
All right, Devin, we have to leave it there.
Yeah.
I guess we'll be watching the governance forum closely to see your hard work over the last little while. And yeah, I agree. There's the entertainment component of DAO governance, I think, will have a much longer life than most people maybe realize. So thanks for jumping on with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Peace, Devin.
Bye.